I've never been religious. I never really went to church growing up, but one night, I ended up in one, and I swear, I barely made it out alive. This happened about 5 years ago, and to this day, I still get chills thinking about it. It was around midnight when I found myself lost in a small town while driving home from a road trip. My phone had no signal. My GPS had completely given up on me, and there wasn't a single person around to ask for directions. That's when I saw it. A church standing alone at the end of a long, winding road. It was strange because, despite the late hour, the front doors were slightly open, and there was a dim light flickering inside. I figured maybe someone was there who could help me, so I parked my car and stepped inside. The moment I crossed the threshold, a heavy silence settled over me. The kind of silence that makes your ears ring. The pews were empty, and the air smelled musty, like the place hadn't been used in years. Yet the candles at the altar were lit, and the Bible on the pulpit was open, as if someone had just been there. I called out, "Hello? Is anyone here?" No answer. That's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The doors. The massive wooden doors I had just walked through were now shut. I hadn't heard them close, and when I rushed back to open them, they wouldn't budge. Panic set in. I banged on the doors, yelling for help, but my voice just echoed back at me. It was like the church had swallowed me whole. Then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the back of the church. I spun around, expecting to see someone, anyone, but there was no one, just rows of empty pews. Then the footsteps came again, closer this time. I felt the temperature drop, and suddenly, the candles started flickering wildly. A cold sweat broke out on my skin, and I knew, without a doubt, that I was not alone. I forced myself to move, stepping deeper into the church, looking for another way out. That's when I saw something in the corner, an old wooden confessional booth. The door was slightly open. It hadn't been open a second ago. My breath hitched as I stepped toward it. The closer I got, the more I felt something was watching me, waiting for me to make a mistake. My gut told me to turn around, but my body wouldn't listen. I reached out, barely pushing the door open. Inside, it was pitch black. The smell of rot and something metallic filled my nose. That's when I heard a whisper, "Come in." I stumbled back so fast I nearly fell. My heart pounded against my ribs as I ran toward the pulpit, searching desperately for another exit. The footsteps followed me, growing faster, louder. Then I saw it. In the reflection of a broken window, I saw a figure standing behind me. It was tall, shrouded in darkness, with hollow eyes that bored into mine. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I don't remember how I got out. The next thing I knew, I was in my car, my hands shaking on the wheel. The church stood silent behind me, its doors wide open again, like it had never been closed in the first place. I don't know what that place was, or why it let me leave, but I do know one thing. I will never step foot in a church again. Do you know those stories about haunted convents and ghost nuns? I always thought they were just legends, until I saw one myself. When I was in college, my best friend Lisa and I took a trip to an old cathedral in Mexico. It was famous for its beautiful stained glass, towering architecture, and stories. People said the church was haunted, but we didn't believe it. The first time I saw her, I thought she was just part of the church staff. A nun, standing at the far end of the hall, completely still. Her habit covered her face, but something about the way she stood sent chills down my spine. As we walked deeper into the cathedral, I felt like I was being watched. Every time I turned around, I caught a glimpse of the nun. She never moved, never got closer, but I knew she was watching. At one point, Lisa tapped my arm. "That nun. She's gone." I turned, and she was right. The hallway was empty. Relieved, we kept exploring, taking pictures and admiring the architecture. Then we heard it, a whisper. It was so faint that I thought I imagined it, but then it came again, clearer this time. Leave. The voice was low, almost a growl. We turned to run, but I froze. The nun was there again, closer this time, and now I could see her face. Except there was no face, just hollow darkness under the veil. I don't remember how we got out of there, but as we ran, the whisper followed us. To this day, Lisa swears she still sees that faceless nun in her dreams. There's something unsettling about an empty church at night. I learned that the hard way. When I was 10, my family attended a small church. I would always sit in the back, bored out of my mind. One evening, I saw a man sitting alone in the last pew. He was staring straight ahead, completely still. After service, I turned to look at him again. He was gone. I asked my mom who he was, but she just frowned. No one was sitting back there. From that night on, I started seeing him every Sunday. Always in the last pew. Always silent. One day, I finally got the courage to sit next to him. But the moment I did, the air around me turned ice cold. I looked away for a second. When I turned back, he was gone. After that, I never sat in the back again, but sometimes I still feel him there, watching. I used to clean churches for extra cash. It was a quiet job, until I worked at St. Michael's. One night I was alone, mopping the floors, when I heard singing. Soft, distant, like a choir practicing in another room. I followed the sound, thinking someone was still inside, but when I checked the choir loft, it was empty. I turned to leave, and the singing started again. This time, it was right behind me. I spun around, heart pounding, but no one was there. The air felt heavy, like something was pressing against me. Then the organ played, just one note, low and eerie. I ran. The next day I told the priest what happened. He just looked at me and said, "You heard them, didn't you?" I asked him what he meant, but he wouldn't say. I quit that job the next day.